Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar on the Heritage Council's Heritage Stewardship Fund for 2026. My name is my name is Martina Malone, and I'm Grants Administrator here at the Heritage Council, and I'm joined on the webinar today by the Heritage Council's Grants Manager, Amanda Ryan.
Hello.
You'll see we're in webinar function, which means you can see us, but we can't see you. So for that reason, we'll get you to pop any questions you have into the questions and answers box below the bottom of the screen. We're recording the webinar, so the recording will be available on our website afterwards, along with Amanda's presentation. The format of the webinar today is a short presentation from Amanda, where she'll take you through the criteria and eligibility for the scheme, and then we'll get to your questions after that. So without further ado, I'll hand you over to Amanda.
Thanks, Martina. And again, you're all very welcome here today, and to thank you for attending. We'll keep the presentation short and sweet so that if you have any questions, you can ask them at the end. So basically, are you eligible? So if you work in any public body, that could be a local authority, county city museum, county city libraries, a state agency, or indeed a second, third level educational body, you are eligible to apply. So this fund supports heritage-focused projects undertaken by public bodies. A running theme through all the projects that we'll be supporting will have to demonstrate that you've considered climate change, sustainability and public benefit. Funding ranges from 5,000 to 30,000, and most awards are kind of between the 20 and 30,000 bracket. We fund about 40 projects annually, and you must contribute 10% towards the final costs, and that 10% has to be a financial contribution. We can't take into account salaries or administrative overheads or anything like that. Key dates: has to be in by the 19th of January 2026 at 5 p.m. It's an online system. It does shut down automatically at 5 p.m. So make sure you have everything uploaded and that submit button pressed before that time. Decisions will be announced in early March. We'll contact you by email to let you know the outcome of your application. And if you are successful, you can commence your application from March until the 13th of November to complete it. So what do we fund? Basically, we fund third-party supplier costs. So that can be any external suppliers or consultants to oversee or undertake a project. We also fund purchase of specialised equipment. That could be museum-grade cases, monitoring equipment, also interpretation, multimedia equipment. We also cover travel and subsistence costs for volunteers if they're involved in your project, and that will be at standard rates. I think the daily rates or the subsistence rate is around 19 euros for over 5 hours, and travel is 43 cents per kilometre. So what makes a strong application? Clear objectives that align to good heritage practice, that you have qualified professionals involved. Now that could be in-house, or it could be you buy-in consultancy advice. It demonstrates climate resilience and sustainability, and really there what we're looking at for is, no matter what your project is, even if it's a built heritage, museums type project, that you have considered this in terms of climate change and impact on the environment, and that you have thought about your commitment to engaging with the public about your project. One of the conditions of offer of funding is that you undertake a in-person event during National Heritage Week. And that will be related to the actual project we're funding. And we also expect that you would do public engagement activities, and that could be just through social media, updating project progress and highlighting what the project is about. So how we assess your application, it goes through 3 stages. Starts with screening. There are basic checks to make sure all documents are there and that you're eligible. And then it's assessed by a panel comprising of in-house technical staff and members of our external panel of assessors. And they score each application against the 4 criteria. 25 marks are assigned to each category. You must score a minimum of 10 under each category in order to move to the next stage. So basically, it's under the quality structure of the project. So that's demonstrating that you have clear objectives, that your project will be undertaken in line with good heritage practice, that you have a work plan that has logical steps, and that you have considered those negative impacts on national heritage. Benefit to community and public engagement. That demonstrates, we like to see that you're demonstrating your willingness to engage with the public and showcase your project. And that could be through workshops, talks, events, especially during National Heritage Week. You'll also have to, as I said, engage with the public throughout the project, even if that's just through social media or through press releases or through your website. And you will also need to consider inclusive and accessibility issues. And that could mean making an archive publicly accessible, or if it's a digital heritage resource, that's publicly accessible, or videos or podcasts. Feasibility and timeliness, and that's basically that the project is realistic and that it can be undertaken within our timeline. We don't have the ability or flexibility to carry funding over to the next year, so you do have to meet our end of year deadline. And that could mean that there's permissions or licenses involved. And even if you haven't them secured at time of application, I would strongly advise that you upload a note to acknowledge that these are required and that you're in the process of applying for them. Just don't ignore that. Best value, and that's in terms of your budget, that it's clear that the costs are eligible and that you've shown your 10% contribution. General advice, say this on all our grant schemes: read the guidance document. Engage contractors that are appropriately accredited. Quotations, you'll need to upload those, and they should detail the service that's going to be provided. Now, in some instances, I know there's procurement issues, but even if you have a similar project you worked on this year or last year, that you could upload a copy of the invoice that was supplied for that. We do need to see where you're getting these costs from. Clear current photographs. You'll be surprised how many people don't include these. These are really important. If you're working on an object or collection, we like to see the current condition, where it's housed, what's in the collection. So we need to see the current condition, whether that's a building, place, object or collection. So please upload photographs. I touched on approvals, permissions, licenses. Don't ignore that. Acknowledge it if you haven't got them in place, but they're on the way or you're about to apply for them. Upload a document, a statement to advise that. Additional project-specific information. Now that could be that could be a specification. We'll say you're getting an object conserved, a paper documents. Well, then that's a specification from the paper conservator. Equally, if it's a building, a specification from the conservation architect. Letters of support, we say at least 2, but there's no harm in uploading a few more. They always, assessors do focus on letters of support, and they do like to see ones from maybe community groups. And we like to see our letters of support from your local heritage or biodiversity officer. When you're uploading your supporting documents, make sure they're in PDF or JPEG format because the system won't accept them, and file size under 10 megabytes. And please label them clearly. There's nothing more frustrating for assessors than trying to find a document and it's just got a generic uploaded numeric type name to it. Label them before you upload them. And that's it. If you have any queries after this event, do email us at grants@heritagecouncil.ie. We will try to get back to you within 5 working days. And but my first main advice is if you haven't already read the guidance, do read it. And this is the only application or scheme we have at the moment that will be open for public bodies in terms of just general projects, heritage projects. You are not eligible to apply for the community grant scheme. That's for non-governmental bodies and not-for-profit organisations only. So if you have a project in mind, do apply under this scheme. Thanks very much. Now, Martina, have we any questions?
We don't have any questions at the moment, so if anyone has any questions, just
do feel free to ask
them
us.
in. Yeah, do.
Is there anything I left out in the presentation, Martina, or can you think of anything? I think where people fall down most is things like photographs, applying for work to a collection and not providing photographs of the collection or samples, or explaining. Another one is not explaining what's in the collection. Our collection contains whatever it contains. So don't assume that assessors know your work or indeed the project, because more than likely they probably won't. We have a panel of assessors we use. A lot of them are based in Ireland, some in Northern Ireland, some in the UK. They may not be familiar with your project, so treat it like you're presenting something for the first time. Yeah, it's stuff like that, and not photographs, not explaining the project properly. Be clear. I think we've a question. Have we?
One
Martina?
question we do. How many applications roughly do we get each year?
Do we get, that scheme now isn't too badly all our schemes are oversubscribed. This one isn't so much because we have separate funds for biodiversity officers to apply to us and a separate fund for heritage officers to apply, and they can't apply for this. So last year we received about 58 applications, and the year before maybe around that, and we fund about 38, 40 projects annually. So it's not oversubscribed in terms of, and the ones that didn't get through, a lot of them failed at screening stage for not having the supporting documentation. So if you're unsure about what to include, do drop us an email, and we can let you know quickly what's needed.
I have a question from Amir from the Royal College of Surgeons. They're thinking about a digitisation archival project.
Yes.
And he just has a question around making that information publicly available, because the collection they have includes a portion of images of medical pathology in diverse skins, which may not be suitable for the general public, but they would hope to make it available as a resource for professionals. The other portion of images can be made public. Would this type of project then be acceptable?
That would be acceptable. Yes. If there is, and you can clearly, I would clearly explain that, Amir, in your application, that because of the sensitive nature of the images, that portion will be for resource material for professionals, but that this other element, again, to explain it clearly, don't assume that assessors will know. And I know, and also, especially in terms of digitisation, just demonstrate that you have cataloguing in place. I know that's an important element in terms of supporting digitisation projects.
Okay. Okay. The next question is from Marie. It's if the project involves a website, what is the best way to demonstrate that in the application?
Okay, well, if you have a current website, you could provide the link to the current website. You would need to have some kind of a user journey or undertaken by an IT specialist to show, and it would be good also if for who you are thinking about, the ICT, maybe it was ICT, I should have said, the ICT specialist, some samples of their previous work, or you could include samples of the type of website, links to other websites to demonstrate what kind of final product you're thinking about. So the important upload there would be a technical document in terms of how it's going to be mapped out, what sections are going to be in it, and samples of this person's previous work.
Okay. If a library would prefer not to outsource the specialist digitization job because of the fragility of the material, are they obliged to outsource it, or can they instead put funds toward paying a project manager for that particular job, which could be done on the premises?
Oh, absolutely. You can, and I should have been a bit clear about that. You can engage somebody, but again, you need to be very explicit in that. I would suggest uploading a letter from the director or manager to state that you intend engaging somebody to work in-house for a period of time solely on that project. So that for us, that's creating employment, which our funding will be very supportive of. It's just not supporting existing salaries. So be very specific about that. And I would include a job specific or a job description of what this person will be expected to undertake.
I have no further questions for you at this time.
Oh, we'll expect really good applications from everyone, Martina. But again, if you do have anything, just pop us a line. And I would encourage you to start the application now. I know we're coming up to Christmas, but at least because there are a few questions on it, and to start getting letters of support in. The last week is always a mad rush for applicants, and panic sets in, and then it's very last minute. So if you are keen to submit an application, do start now. Okay, thank you very much, everybody, and thanks for listening. And we hope you found that helpful, and enjoy your weekend.